Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows from around world football this weekend. We've got the old band back together. It's me and Patrick Van Straten this Monday afternoon. Pato, where are we starting, my good man?
We start at Anfield. We seldom have been able to give Liverpool the praise that they sometimes deserve recently, but at Liverpool, Garal1 says that we should cover them today. Of course, they beat Huddersfield 3-0 at Anfield, which is a very impressive result given the form that Huddersfield have been in. And that will sort of dispel the clouds after last week's mauling at the hands of Spurs. It's just their second league win since August. They're still 3 points off Arsenal and Chelsea, so they're within touching distance, but 12 points off City at the top. So sadly, I think we have to say that the title is probably gone for Liverpool
I think so
already.
at this stage.
But Huddersfield, they weren't really looking like that dangerous a proposition, despite what we were saying. Apparently, they failed to score in 3 consecutive away league games for the first time since 2007. In fact, I'm not sure they've scored an away goal since the first day of this season.
Oh, and that was that Mounier double, was it?
Yeah, a bit rough. Look, Sturridge's opener was his 100th career goal. But that seems so low because the guy's an incredible finisher. He's already, what, 27?
Injuries, man.
It's taken his career. It's kind of like Michael Owen before him, to be honest with you. But Firmino has scored more in the league than any other Liverpool player since his arrival in 2015. He's got 14 now. Gini Wijnaldum has 18 Premier League goals, and all of them have come at home. 7 for Liverpool, 11 for Newcastle. So it looks like everyone is coming back into form, and they're going to need it going into Christmas.
Yeah, 100%. In this match, though, I have to say that the Reds were totally dominant. 75% possession, 16 shots to Huddersfield's 1, and that will be a worry for Wagner. They actually had 8 on target as well, Liverpool, and made a huge 770 passes. That's an 86% completion rate. That is right up there with the best in the Premier League. I think Manchester City managed over 840 at the weekend, which is also a huge amount. Surprisingly, the star man in this game, James Milner. 4 chances created, 1 assist, 88% passing accuracy, 6 tackles and interceptions. Really impressive for a man who's been in and out of the side. Last season was obviously featuring at left back, slightly more in midfield this season, then back to left back again. But surprisingly as well, Liverpool's defensive record at Anfield is much better than I thought it was going to be. I actually thought Liverpool had been struggling, but they have conceded just 1 goal at home this season. Only Man United, who obviously have an incredible home defensive record, have a better one than the Reds. Jurgen Klopp claiming it is feeling like Christmas at Anfield. It's only Halloween, so calm down a little bit, Jurgen. Calm down. You've not been on the best form, but nevertheless, it was a good result. So congratulations, Liverpool. You're in our winners.
Our first loser of the weekend, Everton. This comes from @James Lawton. Joe, tell us why they're in the losers.
Oh, dearie me. The Toffees obviously slumping to a pathetic 2-0 away loss to Leicester City to keep them in the relegation zone. This was actually Everton's 7th consecutive game without a win. Awful form. They've conceded 20 goals in the Premier League this season. A horrible defensive record. That's their most after 10 league matches since 1994. They have been so poor. They were so poor again in this game, completely wasteful. They actually had around 60% possession and still lost 2-0. They had 16 shots and still lost 2-0. Really unacceptable. Their front line was Calvert-Lewin and Rooney, and the pair managed 0 shots on target in this game.
I'm not surprised though. When I was looking at Rooney, I was like, what position are you playing? There are points he was dropping in front of the centre-backs. I don't know why they're still doing this with Rooney.
What is going on with the positional play at Everton when Phil Jagielka is having Everton's most shots in the game? It's just completely unacceptable. I mean, Jagielka and Williams started yet again at centre-half. We saw them start at centre-half against Chelsea midweek. They've got a combined age of 68. Unsworth, come on. What is going on? I mean, only 2 of Ronald Koeman's 9 signings started this game. Sigurdsson on the bench. We've berated Sigurdsson and all the people on Twitter who battered me and Pato that Sigurdsson was a great signing. Where are you now? Oh, he's a dead ball specialist. He's not a dead ball specialist. In Europe's top 5 leagues, 948 players have taken dead balls. This season, Sigurdsson has the worst record, 935th worst record from set pieces this season. 935th of all the players that have taken set pieces. Where are you now? Let's be having you. I'm going full Delia Smith. Pato, but Leicester will be more happy, won't they?
Yeah, it's a little bit more positive for Leicester. Claude Puel gets a win in his first game in charge, though actually that's been the case for the last 4 Leicester managers, if you count Appleton, obviously caretaker manager. They've all won their first game in charge. And Vardy's actually scored the first Premier League goal under all those managers.
Ooh, Jamie.
He's now been assisted by Riyad Mahrez 9 times in the Premier League. Got more assists from him than any other player. And what a goal it was, the first one. Demarai Gray picks the ball up in his own half, beats both of Everton's central midfielders, who for some reason are both out on the wing, gets free, passes it to Mahrez. Mahrez slips it across the box, and Jamie Vardy smashes it in. And Jamie Carragher said on commentary, I feel like I've seen this goal about 15 times in the last 2 years. They're so good on the counter. The Foxes have now taken 6 points from their last 2 Premier League games. They took 6 points from the 8 games before that. So form is starting to pick up. Jamie Vardy's form is absolutely frightening. At home in the Premier League, 13 goals in his last 15 games he's been involved in. That's 11 goals and 2 assists.
That's so impressive.
Really impressive. And if Demarai Gray can start to contribute, that'll be really exciting. I have berated him in the past for his lack of end product because he's a great dribbler, he's quick, he's got all the tools, but he hasn't really produced that much. In this game, completed 3 dribbles. I mean, I think one of those dribbles involved him beating half the Everton team. He had 2 shots and he scored. Now, one of those shots, I'm not sure we could call it a shot. I think it was a cross into the box, and it was spooned in by John Joe Kenny. But congratulations to Demarai Gray, and congratulations to Leicester. Claude Puel got the Foxes on the up again.
To Manchester now, where the citizens are on fire, Pato. What's going on?
Yeah, they beat West Brom 3-2 away. They keep their lead at the top of the table. In fact, they've now made the best start to a Premier League season after 10 games ever. They've got 28 points out of 30. They've won 9, they've drawn 1, they've got a goal difference of plus 29, which is also nuts. And things weren't looking good for West Brom going into this game. They'd lost 14 of their last 15 against Man City. They conceded 43 goals in that run, almost 3 a game, and true to form, accepted another 3 onto the score sheet this time. Now, Guardiola's side have actually won their last 8 Premier League games by an aggregate score of 32-5. So they're conceding under a goal a game, and they're scoring around 4 a match themselves. And it's no surprise when you look at the stats. 78% possession. How are people meant to score against them or beat them when they don't have any of the ball? Incredible. They had 15 shots to West Brom's 6, but, and this will be a little bit of a worry for Pep, this will be a little bit of a cloud. They had 5 on target, West Brom had 4 on target. So actually, when it comes to top quality chances, it was a little bit closer than it appeared.
Yeah, but what can you say about Manchester City right now? They are on fire. People already starting to talk about them as one of the best Premier League teams of all time. Already in the conversation for an invincible season, aren't they? Because, quite frankly, they're on ridiculous form. Unbeaten in 21 games in all competitions. And the best thing about that is they've won 17 of those, drawing just 4. That's the longest run without a defeat in the club's history. And on Saturday, they completed 844 passes, like I said earlier. That's the highest of any Premier League team since Opta Stats began in 2003-2004. They are unplayable right now, and there's 2 youngsters that are stealing the show, Sane and Sterling. Combined, they completed 3 dribbles, had 4 shots, scored 2 goals, and achieved 1 assist. Raheem Sterling looks a completely different player under Pep Guardiola. That was kind of the acid test for a lot of people, how good Pep was what can he do with Raheem Sterling? And he has turned him into an absolute dynamo right now. Sterling has scored 9 goals in all competitions so far this season, the most of any Manchester City player. Kane's got 13, Lukaku's got 11, and then it is Raheem Sterling. It's incredible. Sane as well has had a hand in 11 goals in his last 7 Premier League games. 11 in 7. Wrap your head around that. Those 2 look unbelievable. City now flying out to Naples to play Napoli in the Champions League, which is going to be an epic affair because we know how good Napoli have been. But can City maintain that unbeaten record? Can they go this season invincible? It could happen. Let's move on.
Next up in our losers, we take a trip to the continent, and it's Borussia Dortmund. Joe, who does this come from and why are they here?
This one comes from Willy19, great Twitter handle, and they're there because Borussia Dortmund lost 4-2 away at Hanover, meaning they now slip to second in the Bundesliga. Terrible, terrible result for Peter Bosz's men. And they've actually been poor defensively for a little while now. They've conceded at least 2 goals in 3 consecutive Bundesliga games for the first time in over 3 years. And when you're conceding 2 goals a game, you're likely to lose or draw those fixtures. After taking 19 points, in fact, from their first 7 games of the league this season, Dortmund have now lost 2 and drawn 1 of their last 3 fixtures. Like I said, you can't concede that many goals and expect to win games. Despite this match actually being fairly evenly contested, Dortmund did have the lion's share of possession, 66%, but Hanover, 13 shots, 7 shots on target. And when you have 7 shots on target, you are going to score goals, especially against Borussia Dortmund's poor goalkeepers. But Dortmund did battle back, didn't they, a couple of times, Pato?
Yeah, they came from behind twice in this game, but then the tide was turned by Dan Axel Zagadou's straight red card, which kind of handed the initiative back to Hanover. Now, despite this being his 9th Bundesliga match already, you know, a lot of game time for the youngster. It was a game of first for him. He got his first goal and his first card, and unfortunately for him, it was red. Now, Christian Pulisic did his best in this game, completed 7 dribbles.
Oh, Christian.
But the star man on the pitch was Hanover's Bebu, who took 4 shots, had 3 on target, completed 3 dribbles, and scored twice.
Impressive.
Now, things don't get easier for Dortmund. They've got Apoel up on Wednesday in the Champions League, and they struggled with that before. Then they've got Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga next weekend. It already looks like their chance to win a title with Bayern all over the place has gone. So, guys, where do you think they're going to end up this season? Can they come back and win the title? Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Our final winner comes from I Am Murpheus, and he suggests Manchester United, Pato. Why, oh why?
Yeah, they beat Tottenham 1-0 at Old Trafford to go 3 points clear in second place and remain in touching distance. That's 5 points of Man City. That will relieve a bit of pressure on Mourinho after poor showings against Liverpool, particularly, of course, against Huddersfield. Yes. And he brought on Anthony Martial. Now, of course, people recently have been saying, Anthony Martial keeps scoring off the bench, deserves a chance to start, but as long as he keeps doing this, you can understand why he's coming on late in games. He scored 4 and assisted 2 in the Prem, all after coming off the bench in the final 20 minutes. His goals per minutes ratio must be bananas. It must be crazy. Averaging a goal, in fact, I've got it down here. Should have read that first. Every 67 minutes. Every ridiculous. 67 minutes. That is incredible. United have now scored 11 league goals in the last 10 minutes of games this season. That's 49% of their total of 23 goals. So they just look like they will keep coming at you. And in this game as well, I thought they really improved in the second half because Spurs in the first half looked pretty good.
Yeah, they definitely did. I mean, they were a dominant team. As you'd expect, they're such a good footballing side. They averaged 55% possession in this game. They had 13 shots, 4 on target. Although I have to say, I didn't think David De Gea was particularly tested with any of those shots on target. I don't remember him making any dramatic saves, whereas at the other end we saw Lukaku at the post, we saw him parry one and the side of the goal from Lukaku as well, Hugo Lloris. And Man United's solid defence came to the fore yet again. They've been fantastic this season, yet to concede a goal at home in the league, I believe. In fact, I actually was reading up this morning, United in the Premier League have conceded just 4 goals at Old Trafford in the entirety of 2017. That is an absolutely ridiculous record. Our home form is incredible, unbeaten in 36 games. It really is becoming Fortress Old Trafford. Chris Smalling as well was actually quite impressive. 100% of his aerial duels won, 5 tackles and interceptions, 9 clearances, although he was helped by the fact that Tottenham were not really playing a recognised striker with Harry Kane missing. Son was obviously up there by himself. And to that effect, we really targeted the other star man, Dele Alli. We just kicked him up and down the pitch, wound him up all day. He was fouled 4 times. And I mean, some of those fouls were absolute crunchers. Valencia hammered into him on the touchline at one moment. We saw Ashley Young riling him up. It's obviously gone pretty viral on Twitter what he said to him. So if you want to find out, just search Ashley Young Dele Alli on Twitter, and it is pretty funny. But Pochettino will not be happy. Obviously, his side have now lost consecutive games for the first time since February, and they face Real Madrid on Wednesday. It doesn't get much harder than that, does it? But Real Madrid themselves aren't on great form. You can find out all about the Los Blancos efforts on ERU. So head over there at 5 PM sharp. But for now, Man United, you're in the winners.
Our final losers of the week come from @BenReed2020, and it's West Ham.
Oh, I'm sorry, Slaven. You're back in the losers after that incredible turnaround at Wembley against Tottenham Hotspur, because you've conceded a 96-minute equaliser to Wilf Zaha to draw 2-2 against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Despite the fact, and I actually agree with Hodgson here, that Palace dominated the game. 57% possession Palace had, 19 shots. They had 9 on target in this game. Seriously, incredible stuff. They're lucky that Joe Hart was on scintillating form, and also Palace hit the woodwork twice. They don't even count towards the shots on target that, so it's really 11 shots on target if you count that, don't you? Palace didn't get the win they probably deserved, but they did close the gap. They are now just 4 points from safety, and they can mainly thank Wilf Zaha, can't they? Since the start of the 2014-15 season, no player has scored more goals for Palace than Zaha. He has bagged 15, and quite frankly, his return from injury is what's saving Roy Hodgson. Because let's face it, De Boer didn't have Wilf Zaha. He was out with an injury. He comes back, and shock, Palace start firing again, Pato.
Yeah, they need to shore things up at the defensive end, though. That's a bit of a worry for them. They're one of just 4 teams in Europe's top 5 leagues yet to keep a clean sheet this season, along with Benevento, Malaga and Dijon. So it's not great company to be in. Now, all of Chicharito's 41 Premier League goals, of course he scored again in this game, have been scored from inside the box. That's absolutely amazing. And Andre Ayew coming back into form as well. He's got 3 goals in his last 2 games for West Ham. That's more than he managed in his previous 10. And his goal in this game is an absolute stunner. Just bangs it from outside the box. West Ham now just a point above relegation, though. They've conceded 19 goals in 10 games. Only Stoke and Palace have conceded more. And next week, they've got Liverpool.
Doesn't get easier than that.
It's not going to be great. On the other hand, Palace have got Spurs at Wembley, so both these clubs are going to need to pick it up pretty damn soon if they don't want to end up in the Championship.
So that's all we've got time for on today's episode of Winners and Losers, but there's loads more results and reviews from me and Pato on European football over on ERU. Pato, what are we talking about?
We're talking about Bayern Munich, and of course we're talking about Real Madrid, whose poor form continues.
Oh, thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye.